Live from downtown Vancouver at the Vancouver Film School campus, it's time for EP Live. Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. You got to play some very fun things. Maybe you got out to go and see Joker. I'm going to be talking about Joker a little bit more on this show because just like the character himself who is haunted by all the demons that he is facing in his life, that movie has haunted me. I've got to get some more out. But we've got a lot more to get to. First of all, we've got the rundown, and today it is going out to Jason Chesley, who says, I get goosebumps when Vic says, remember, play forever. And it's because over the years, with all of Vic's hard work, he has given us a legacy of knowledge and passion for gaming. So with that in mind, I will be playing forever, and so will my children and their children's children. That's like a manifesto, man. I love that. Jason Chesley, this rundown is all yours. Now, pesky microtransactions haven't stopped Nintendo's latest mobile game from coming in first place. Mario Kart Tour has had the biggest launch yet for a Nintendo mobile game, with more than 90 million downloads worldwide in its first week. That number spans both iOS and Android, although Nintendo hasn't said how many users have actually kept playing the game or how many have spent money in the game. Mario Kart Tour has received criticism for how much it relies on microtransactions, and it even has a $5 a month subscription if you want to unlock everything. No matter how you feel about that, the game is almost certainly raking in the dough for Nintendo, so don't expect things to change anytime soon. It breaks my heart that Nintendo has gone down this road, no pun intended. Clearly, this is making them all kinds of money, and shareholders are going to be very happy about that, and the developers are going to be very happy about that, and I know that there's celebrations going on everywhere. But I don't know. I feel like as these microtransactions and loot boxes and these different scenarios for which game companies are figuring out ways to kind of pull money out of people on a continuous basis, and you don't ever really feel like you have the complete experience until you do keep spending money. It's just starting to feel a little dirtier, you know? And I don't like that Nintendo is playing in this space. I think that they could have easily piggybacked on some of the goodwill that's happening with Apple Arcade and Google Play Pass and said, okay, look, we want to try something different. We know you love Mario Kart. Here's our $10 price point for the game, and you own the whole thing. I feel like that free-to-play kind of fishhook is so enticing for a lot of people, and frankly, I can't wait till that kind of thing fades away. I feel like the first super successful subscription-based service where you have, an endless stream of games at your fingertips, but they're complete games, that really succeeds and really kind of rolls over this whole idea of microtransactions, the better off the video game industry is going to be. That's not to say that this game isn't fun. I haven't been playing it. I played it a little bit. I thought it was okay, but it doesn't compete with Mario Kart 8 on the Switch. But I know people are having fun with it, and I don't mean to say you can't have fun with this. But if you're going to be spending money on a game like this, I'd be much happier if you were spending it in the direction of Google Play Pass or Apple Arcade and checking out all of those games that honestly need more attention than Mario Kart Tour does. All right, the new Avengers game from Square Enix isn't the only heroic Marvel game on the way. Sony has announced that the PlayStation exclusive Iron Man VR will land February 28th, 2020. As the title suggests, players will take the role of Tony Stark in a new story that sees him battle different enemies using his technologically advanced Iron Man suit, with a combination of flying mechanics, shooting, and puzzle solving. Iron Man VR is being developed by Camouflage, the indie studio behind the 2013 stealth game Republic. I can't wait for this game. I think Iron Man is a perfect character to strap on a VR headset. There's a one-to-one there that just makes a ton of sense. I know that this is a massive deal for Camouflage to be bequeath this responsibility and to work in partnership with Marvel Games. But then again, led by Ryan Payton, who has been a long-time friend of Electric Playground, and we worked with him on when he was at Kojima Productions on the making of Metal Gear Solid 4. I got to know him really well. He's an unbelievably cool guy with just a devout passion for video games and making things that really matter. And I'm really, really happy that he gets to kind of lead a group of people to build us a dream Iron Man experience. And my fingers are crossed that it's amazing, and that it does very well for Marvel and for camouflage. And I think that's a pretty nice feather in the PlayStation VR's cap right there to get an Iron Man VR game. I cannot wait to play this game. Netflix is doubling down on their efforts to win an Oscar. The streaming giant has announced that their new movie, The Irishman, from director Martin Scorsese, will be shown at New York's historic Belasco Theater alongside its limited run at a handful of theaters in Los Angeles. It will open in these theaters on November 1st and run exclusively for 26 days before streaming on Netflix itself starting November 27th. That way, it will qualify for the Academy Awards. Netflix has been trying for years to win an Oscar for Best Picture, but Academy rules prevented their films from being considered until recently. I can't wait for this movie. This is a crazy time of year, right? This is when cool movies like Joker come out and video games. Like I feel like I'm swimming in lots of fun escapism right now, and this is one of the things that I'm so stoked for. I wasn't until I started to hear the early buzz, and I saw De Niro on some of the talk show spots that he was on and talking about it, and Scorsese talking about. Of course, Scorsese's in the news right now because he doesn't think that the superhero movies qualify as cinema, and let's talk about that for a second. I think it's great that he thinks that. I think it's totally cool. I know that's a shock coming from a guy that adores superhero movies as much as I do, but I think it's awesome that we can approach, the artistic medium of crafting movies from totally different vantage points. And I think that's why movies can offer so many different directions for us to be entertained. And I don't think that everybody that is making movies today needs to give a crap about superhero films. And what will be fascinating is when you get a guy like Scorsese say, okay, well, I'll give this a shot and I'll try something in this genre, coming at it from a completely fresh perspective. Yes, it's a little insulting of the work that people have been putting into these films, but damn, I feel like people are so worried about having an opinion about any of this stuff. And if there's any human on earth that is deserving of having an opinion about movies, it's Martin Scorsese, all right? The guy has given us a ton of stuff, so I feel like we just leave him alone. But I am super psyched for this flick, and I can't believe Al Pacino and Joe Pesci are in this sucker, Harvey Keitel. It's crazy. The trailer looks great. Yeah, and if Netflix wins an Oscar, I mean, like, that's so crazy. It's like they reached a mountaintop and now they're over the edge, Like they've thrown money at some big movie ideas and big properties, but if this one does it, and it's with the pedigree of Martin Scorsese, all bets are off. We're going to start to see a lot of like top drawer filmmakers like Christopher Nolan, and even though there's a lot of people that hate the idea of small screen movies, but I think that they're going to be sort of taking meetings with Netflix to try different things around this space. It's going to be very, very interesting. And speaking of superheroes, of course, Netflix hasn't even entered into their whole space. They own Mark Miller's whole catalog of, originally created properties. And so they're going to have a whole superhero universe of their own in the not too distant future as well. So they're going to play in the fantasy world too. All right, Starfleet's best captain has set a date for his return. Over the weekend at the annual New York Comic-Con, CBS announced that the new Star Trek series Picard will premiere January 23rd. The show sees Patrick Stewart return to the iconic role for the first time in almost 20 years and will feature other returning cast members from both The Next Generation and Voyager, alongside a crew of newcomers. As with Star Trek Discovery, Picard will be available exclusively on the CBS All Access streaming platform in the U.S., while in Canada it will air on the CTV Sci-Fi channel, and everywhere else in the world on Amazon Prime. I saw the trailer, looks wonderful. It gave me some echoes of Logan, not just because Patrick Stewart was in that one as well, but and not because it's a dark, but just the idea that we're watching characters that we love age, and we're sort of dropping in on them much later in their lives. And there's some like nice emotional beats even in that trailer. I love the fact that he names his dog number one. I think that's hilarious. And then we see his number one show up a little bit later. Yeah, I can't wait. I clearly, though, have to refresh my memory on all the characters, and I don't think that this is going to be one of those shows where you can just walk into it cold. I think you need to have some Star Trek background before you can dive in and really appreciate Picard. Blake, how are you feeling? Are you thinking that it's going to be a good show? Blake is not happy or excited yet. Blake has got a big frowny face on about Picard, but we're hoping, fingers crossed, that all changes in early January. I am so psyched, though, that Jeri Ryan is in this show. She is wonderful. I got a chance to meet her a few years ago, and I love her. I think she's just an awesome person, and that was a nice surprise to see 7 of 9 in there, and I had a Twitter exchange with her, and I congratulated her, and she can't believe that she's getting to do this again, too, I'm just so buzzed for her. I hope it rocks. All right, now famed racing developer Codemasters is returning behind the wheel. Their latest racing game, Grid, crosses the finish line this Friday on the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC, and will also speed onto Google's new Stadia cloud streaming platform when it launches next month. The new Grid is a reboot of the franchise, which first began back in 2008 and features a revamped Nemesis system, so the AI drivers will hold grudges against you if you drive too aggressively. We'll have a review of the game up on our channel in the coming days. I'm super excited about this. Codemasters has this pedigree with racing. Dirt and Grid were the ones that really kind of, put us over the top. They used to do that rally game with the rally race car driver that passed away. I forgot his name now. Colin McRae. Yeah, the Colin McRae series. Loved those, and it was such a tragic story with Colin McRae. But I don't know what it is, man. English developers just really get the feel of the wheels on the tarmac, and. Codemasters has a long history of making awesome games. I remember the first time I played that 2008 Grid, and I felt the rubber, man. I felt like I was doing burnouts, and it just felt so awesome, felt so authentic. And of course, the off-road stuff that they've done in Dirt has put a big smile on my face as well. Very fired up to play this game. I think I might stream a little bit on our Electric Playground live streaming channel, which we haven't really talked about too much, but we're starting to stream on a different place, on a different channel, to try to manage the amount of stuff that we post. But stay tuned to my Twitter, and I think I'll be showing off the game a little bit, and then I'll have a review for you as soon as possible. I've got some reviews to get to very soon in the show today.